Hey budget gardeners, Vita Loca here. Join me today as I show you the process for pruning a Miscanthus grass. So let's go. This tall grass that you see behind me, this is a Miscanthus grass. It's a type of ornamental grass. It's also known as maiden grass. There are a lot of different varieties of Miscanthus. I don't know which variety this is. I've had it for a number of years, but I absolutely love it in my garden. It is the end of November, and you might be wondering, when is the right time to prune back your ornamental grasses? And the answer is, it really depends. It depends on a number of factors. The first factor being, where do you live? I live in New Hampshire, and our winters get really cold. So when it comes to pruning back this ornamental grass, I don't want to prune it all the way down to the ground. And I don't have to prune it at all, in fact. I could leave it up just like this. The reason I want to prune it back is because we have a lot of snow during our winter months and it can get very heavy. And I've left this grass up before and it does not look pretty. It just lays right down and makes a big mess for me to clean up in the springtime. Where you live, it might be a little bit warmer. You might not have as cold winters. So you may choose to cut back your ornamental grass in the late fall, early winter months. It really depends on you and what you prefer in your garden. Now, when it comes to how far down will I be pruning this grass, I will not be pruning it all the way down to the ground. The reason is I want to protect the crown of the plant. That is really important in a cold climate where I live. But I want to prune it back enough so that when the snow starts falling, the grass doesn't lay everywhere and make a mess, but it will still protect the crown. So I'm keeping all those factors in mind. There are a number of tools you can use when it comes to pruning back your grasses. If you have a small clump of grass, you could definitely use something like hand pruners, or you could even use hand shears. Now, for many years, I used those tools. It worked out great, but the last few years, my hands got really tired with using the hand shears. It's a lot of work. And I would come right in with my hand shears and I would just cut off little sections at a time. It would make a mess. I would have the grass everywhere. So this year, I'm using a different approach. And the approach that I found after doing some research looks like it would really be beneficial for a big clump of grass like this. I'm planning to tie back this grass, and you can use anything you want. You can use rope, you can use fishing line, or you can use bungee cords. I have some bungee cords, so that's what I'm going to be using. And then I'm going to use an electric hedge trimmer. I figured it would be a great thing to use. It would make this job a lot faster, and I wanted to show you my process for doing that. Now you'll notice I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt. Yes, it's very cold out. But let's say it was warm here, or let's say it's the springtime and you're cutting back your grass. You want to protect your arms because the blades on the grass can be very sharp and they can cut you. And notice I also have gloves on. Same thing. I don't want to cut my hands with the blades of the grass, so always protect your hands as well. And then finally, you want to wear eye protection because as you're making your cuts, small pieces of grass can fly into your eyes. So you want to protect your eyes as well. Based on the size of this grass, I did end up using 2 bungee cords and I connected them together. And I made sure that it's nice and snug so when I make my cut, the grass doesn't just fall apart. So I'm going to be using this electric hedge trimmer, and I'll put the specs of the trimmer on the screen in case you're interested. And again, I'm going to be cutting about 8 inches off the ground because I want to make sure that there's some protection for the crown of the plant. But then come springtime, what I'll be doing is coming in and cutting this lower because I want to make sure I do those cuts before the new grass emerges. And by the way, in the spring, I'll also show you my process for dividing this grass, so be on the lookout for that video. All right, well, we got most of it cut. Isn't she a beauty? So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to bring this right over to my compost pile, and then I'll end up cutting it up a little bit into smaller pieces, but this will make great brown material for my compost pile. I have a couple of more pieces here. Let's go ahead and get these cut. That is such a game changer. I can't tell you how much easier that was to tackle that project. Every year, I always dreaded doing this project. It was so much work. It took 2 people to do it. And just like that, we got that project done. I really hope you learned something from this video. And if you have any questions or comments, drop them down in the comment section below. And like I mentioned, in the spring, I'll show you my process for cutting down the rest of this grass, as well as how to divide it. So be on the lookout for that. And also be on the lookout for lots of other content. I have a lot going on, both inside as well as outside during the winter months. I'm so excited, and I can't wait to bring you along on that journey. And until the next video, make it a great day with gardening.